What is up, Bucs fans? We are live. We are live here on a Monday. It's Real Bucs Talk back with you again. And we're coming off a pretty good weekend. The Buccaneers got their first preseason win for Todd Bowles as head coach. So a lot of good things. Obviously, the hot topics tonight is going to be the quarterback position, the quarterback battle that I think we kind of know who it's going to be as far as a starter. It was kind of telling in that game on Saturday about, who played and who didn't play. So also we got news that, all the starters are going to play this week in the third preseason game, which is pretty cool. I think it's a good thing. Some will say maybe not so much, try to avoid that injuries, but I'm all for getting your starters reps, especially when you're going into a new offense and you have things you want to iron out. But with that said, welcome to the show. We appreciate everyone in here. I'm your host, Michael Plus, joined as always my co-host, Mark Ramirez. And Mark, take it away. I'll let you talk because I stole the first couple minutes there.
Oh, good. It's a good intro.
Yeah.
Mainly, I guess the big deal is who the hell is going to be our quarterback when in reality, they've said since the get-go, they're not going to make a decision to like that last game. Everyone's all hooting and hollering over, they need to make a decision. They need to make a decision now. I mean, even G Vegas over here, it's going to be a long, painful season with Bowles' indecisiveness and Canales' inexperience. I can understand that experience, but right now it's not really Bowles' indecisiveness. It's all into Canales' hands. He's choosing the quarterback that wants to run his offense. So Bowles is just saying, okay, we already said from the get-go, we're not going to choose a quarterback until the end. It doesn't necessarily mean that's a big wrong decision. We've kind of proven a couple of times, like, you don't necessarily need. I mean, like Aaron Rodgers. Do you think he's really giving a crap that he's not getting any reps at all? He never gets reps in preseason, or for that matter, not even that much in training camp. I mean, the quarterback's supposed to uplift the players around him and also play within the system. They've all been playing the same system. It's just different caliber of players around them. I would assume if you're playing that good with the players that they've been playing with in the preseason, they can only get better with a Mike Williams, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin consistently catching the ball. So, I mean, I love the background. I wish I had that on my show. What, plus is diplomas or my cloudy, mysterious thing?
No, I think he's just talking about the Buccaneers background there for the stream. Yeah.
But I mean, realistically, the quarterback decision is going to be the biggest thing. I think we all kind of know it's going to be Baker based off of Trask playing pretty much the whole entire damn game. And people just want to hear it known. I mean, media makes it even worse because they're like, oh, well, what about this $12 million that Baker Mayfield lost? And now it's his family issue. It's just bringing more and more drama into it. And I'm like, he's been the decision, I think, since the get-go, but they're just wanting to be a claw for the end. Like, every inch matters. So fight to the end, and then the best guy will be at the top. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I think it's just, they want to see it play out. And again, they weren't expecting Kyle. I don't think they were expecting Kyle to show this well or make this much progress, especially with learning a new system. And he's kind of been, catching up throughout the offseason. So I think he's continued to improve. And, people say Trask has been better. Well, Trask has shown he's gotten more opportunities as far as pass attempts and playing time. In the preseason, Baker's only had a couple of drives in that first game. He didn't play last week. So, but also I think you can, if you look at training camp as a whole, Kyle Trask had that really great week, and then he kind of plateaued. Baker started raising his game up to another level because of that competition. And you can see Baker is now rising with his play and is continuing to progress as instead of where Kyle has kind of maintained where he's at. And it's good, but it's not to the level of Baker and showing, that experience that he has within the system. And we already talked about it in detail where Baker just is a natural fit for this scheme. He understands it. He's played in it before. So he knows where to be with the football. And he just has that experience that Kyle just. I mean, you can see it in the Jets game where he just didn't recognize certain things. He was a little slow, with some decisions that maybe Baker probably would have saw faster, like not seeing the corner blitz
Yeah.
or, just little things that an experienced quarterback's going to be able to pick up a lot quicker and play with more rhythm and timing. So I think that's where the separation comes from. And I think you'll see the Buccaneers name Baker the starter this week going into that Baltimore game. And he'll get, the majority of the series with the ones, and then Kyle will play. And then who knows if Kyle's going to finish the whole game or they're going to bring in another quarterback because John Wolford
Yeah.
got injured. So, um, but yeah, I mean, it's, I think I'm good with what they're doing. And again, they're letting it play out. And once that final game hits, I think you'll pretty much know who the starter is. But I would expect it to come probably later this week, and we can put it to rest.
Your American accent is getting better and better, plus. That's funny. But yeah, if everyone just wants to hear a name, okay,
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield's your starter. There you go. If that's what you want to hear, I don't know why it has to be out of Bull's mouth when you're
Right.
seeing actions speak louder than words. Why the hell didn't Baker get on the field if it's a strong competition? No, he would have been in there.
Mhm.
They're just saying what to piss everyone off in the media, what they want to say. Behind closed doors, that they know what they're doing. Canales has been saying it in between his words, saying how much more experienced Baker Mayfield is, and he's knowing certain things before it's even happening. And Kyle Trask is slowly getting to that point. Do you want a guy
Mhm.
that's slowly getting to that point, that's asking questions, really wants to get it, or the guy that actually gets it and he's just implementing it? So that's telling. Okay, I'm not
Mhm.
going to get the guy that's still learning on the go, as opposed to a guy that's been in the fire, been to multiple stadiums, on the road, playoff games, and seen things coming at him, the fire coming at him, not just a controlled setting in practice. Yes, you can practice a lot of situations, but real crowd noise, real pressure, real situations. Baker has that in every stage. So honestly, unless Baker shit the bed in practice, in preseason, it was going to be Baker's regardless. Even though Kyle Trask has looked astronomically better, like almost every year he gets a little bit better. Again,
Mhm.
this is both first time in the system. Baker has even been in the system longer, so to me, it's already been set in stone. It even was even more in that Jets game that he didn't play. Like
Yeah.
he was the one that handed the helmet back to Trask. He's like, "Yeah, go back in there. I ain't going in there." That's even funnier. So
Yeah.
that's what you wanted? Yeah, Trask is your starter. Woo! Or no, not Baker Mayfield is your starter.
Yeah.
Woo!
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it's clear that, Baker's gonna be the guy. They brought him in here for a reason. And, a lot of people are talking about, did Trask have a fair chance at even starting over the last couple of years? I think you have to look at it this way. He didn't get much development the first 2 years behind Brady. They didn't give him many reps. This year, this offseason, he finally gets a significant amount of reps with the ones, the twos, pretty much playing, alternating with Baker, and his development continued to progress. Obviously, he has worked on his body and worked on his mechanics, and he's grown a lot there as far as, throwing with anticipation. I mean, we can see it. He's throwing more confidently. His arm strength is starting to shine through where he's got more zip on the ball. He's pushing the ball downfield. My friend Josh Quapo, he sent me a text yesterday. He's like, Trask is pushing the ball down the field. He's averaging, I mean, on his throw, 16% or 20 yards or more. So that's impressive. Very good play action completion percentage as well. So yeah, a lot of good things, but I think we're looking forward to, Baker being named the starter. And I'm excited that we're going to see the defensive starters get in there, get the offense as well, and see what they have, for at least a couple of series or two, maybe all the way to the half. At least get a quarter in. So I think that will be good. I mean, what's your thoughts on the starters playing this week in the final preseason?
I think they'll play. I think it won't be that much. I
Right.
think even you heard Mike Evans. He's like, they were like, "How much value do you see in preseason?" He's like, "Oh, I don't really need it." He's like,
Mm,
"Maybe a few snaps to get my legs, but I mean, I know what I got to do." So
mm,
yes, that's coming from a true veteran that's literally been here, done it for almost a decade now. But realistically, I think they're just going to get a tune up just to feel what it feels like to be game ready, and that's it.
Mm,
Maybe a drive for Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, their true O line, maybe a drive. I wouldn't necessarily do much more. Like I've said it before, I don't think preseason really matters. If it doesn't matter, why risk getting injured? We're
mm.
just going to go out there just to see what the offense looks like. Defense, go out there, just feel what it feels like. Okay, now we're ready. Because I mean, the veterans already know. Like, what the hell? What are they going to practice in the preseason that they don't already know? Right? The preseason
Yeah, I
guys.
no, I agree with that. I think you'll, like you said, probably a series or two for the main starters. We'll probably still
Asking a
see.
president to be in like a high school student council meeting. Like, what the hell are you asking? Like, that's stupid. I
Yeah.
don't know.
No, I get what you're saying, and I agree. I think, you'll see some of the veterans in there for a series or two, but other than that, it'll probably be the same group like Logan Hall.
Most
Uh,
definitely.
yeah, Logan Hall is going to get a lot of reps, and then you'll see Luke Gedeke get a lot of reps, Cody Mock, the younger players that are starters will probably get more reps. Kate Otten, all the tight ends, all those guys, and same thing on defense. So.
Yeah, I don't think we make it obvious enough. If there's a guy that we don't think is performing well, we really, really stick it to him. Uh, yeah, but Logan Hall deserves some
Mm,
reps for that way.
mhm,
Yeah, I like the player football focus ratings that come out and just seeing where they rank up. It's kind of funny, and that's in relation to Logan Hall's performance in the preseason. But
yeah.
I mean, let's see past quarterback since we kind of know what it should be and what it probably will be.
Mhm.
It just hasn't been named.
Yeah, I wanna answer this question by animal because a lot of people are just running with, Trask here, so I wanna answer this one. He says, "Would you be upset if Trask was named the starter?" I wouldn't personally, and Mark, I've talked to you about this. I feel both quarterbacks can do a good enough job to lead this team to wins because guess what? It's not necessarily the quarterback. We're looking at the system. The system is what makes this thing go. We talked about in before where you look at this system. I mean, Sam Darnold, Jimmy G, um, who else? Jared Goff, bunch of guys, Brock Purdy. All these guys have shown success in this system. And those are not like the best. They're not the top of the top quarterbacks in this league. Do I feel Baker is a better quarterback than Trask? Yes. Um, do I think Trask could grow into being something solid? Yeah, absolutely. But I just don't feel he's there right now. I just don't think he's ready yet, and that's why they're going to go with Baker. And also, he just fits the offense better. I mean, it's you can see it when. I mean, if you're at practice or if you watch, the Pittsburgh game, you can just see the comfortability within the offense from him.
And I'll say this: like, I was what's this stank bastard from Loose Cannons. He
Mm,
made a good he if you can bring that up. He made good points in his case stating the case. He's a huge Trask fan. And he
mm,
made a lot of points of like, okay, I get it. Why it's gonna be Baker. And I was like, yeah, realistically, those are 100% the reasoning of why Baker Mayfield will be your quarterback because it's easier to go from Baker, the experienced guy, to okay, if he falls in his face, now let's put in Trask and give him his opportunity. You wouldn't go from Trask, the young guy, who you're hoping he's it, and then all of a sudden he falls on his face, and then
mm,
you're forced to bring in Baker later. I mean, that looks more worse on the organization than anything. Like because it
mm,
makes more sense to put in Baker. It just totally makes more sense. So
right.
it would look so bad on the organization if you did that. It's easier for Trask to say Baker does get hurt and he comes in, then he could look like the savior, right? But you
Mm,
almost want him to kind of slowly get into there. And his biggest one thing was ticket sales, yeah. But I mean, I think there's just such a big Gator following. I mean, it's
mm.
Florida Gators, right? So I think that's a lot of the push to get him in. But realistically, why
I
force it?
mean, newsflash, guys. I'm a Gator fan. I'm
Yeah,
a
so am I.
I'm a huge Gator fan. So I watched every game that Kyle Trask played at Florida. Um, and and if Mark will tell you this, I was against the pick. I wasn't for it when they
I
made
was
it.
for it, and he was against it.
Yeah, yeah. Mark was all excited. I was like, you can go back to our live reaction, but yeah, I mean, he's just not there yet, and it's unfortunate because his development has been stunted, especially the Brady years. If he would
Cough,
had
cough.
more, if
Leftwich, cough, cough.
yeah, Leftwich. So I mean, if he had more reps during those first 2 seasons, I mean, who knows where he would be right now? There he might be the starter. It might be a better chance to be starting. So,
And then this
uh,
argument, I
mhm,
don't know how that looks worse by playing your second round pick first. You invested in that put in Baker. Okay, it doesn't necessarily matter what pick you're put in. I mean, Brock Purdy was the best quarterback in San Francisco. He was the last pick of the draft.
yeah,
Trey Lance was a top 10 pick, right? And
mhm,
they traded up for this guy. And he doesn't look like anything. He looks like he should be almost walking out of the league. I mean, Sam Darnold was a top pick. He's below Brock Purdy as well. So it doesn't matter where you're taken. It matters who knows how to run a system the best.
yeah,
And all of these things are similarities in Sean McVay's offense. Baker's run that offense already. Kyle Trask is slowly trying to learn it. He just doesn't fit the mold either. Like he's
mhm,
not as athletic as Baker, even though they try and talk him up all the time. And he had his juke move in the Jets game.
mhm,
You can't do that consistently. Baker can.
yeah.
It's just a lot of things where Baker has the upper hand, and that's what it is. Baker was a first overall pick, if that's what you want to go with, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was a first overall pick for a reason. He's led a team to a playoff win. He's had a really good season. He's had some really good ups. Now I know, and it's everyone is so quick to look at what has happened lately, and that's where a lot of this Baker criticism comes from because what he's done lately. But you have to look at the situations, guys, and see where he's coming from and see now he's coming into probably the best situation he's been in as a professional. And I think he's going to run with it. He's talked about it. He's talked about being more consistent. He's talked about this is it for him. So the Buccaneers, I feel, are going to give him that every opportunity to succeed and see if they have a home run with a very cheap free agent Jim and have potential of maybe extending them beyond this year. Again, a lot to be had and played. That's why they play the games. Um,
Yeah.
but there's still there's still a lot of good things with Kyle as far as being the backup and also having potential to get in later this season. Like you said, if Baker gets hurt or it just doesn't work out, he starts throwing picks, left and right, then we could definitely see Kyle Trask at some point this year. So just got to let it play out. But right now, Baker is going to be the starter. I wanted to get to some news before we continue to dive in
Yeah.
to the Buccaneers. Want to bring this up here. So they made this official. Obviously, Russell Gage going to IR. They did pick up Greedy Williams' brother, Rodarius Williams, from he played, I think he was with the Giants. So he was their draft pick a couple years ago. So they brought him in, cornerback. He's got some experience as far as, playing and has some good special teams experience as well. So we'll see what he can bring, a good depth piece. We also did have a battle in today. As you see there, they have
That's what people
weight.
want.
Yeah,
Cut a
so
quarterback, too.
we did have the kicker competition come to an end with Rodrigo Blankenship getting cut because he just didn't make it happen on Saturday with the 2 missed kicks, especially the 32-yarder that he hit off the upright. So Chase McLaughlin is going to be your kicker, and I think we can all feel pretty confident about that. So just wanted to get to that, those 2 items there. I think they also did sign another player as well. I think it was Richard LeCounte, I think, from Georgia. He's a safety. He was a 5th-round pick by, I want to say, the Browns in 2021. So they picked him up, bring in some safety depth because they are looking for safeties because, again, really young back there behind Antoine Winfield and Ryan Neal.
Well, little moves here and there. I guess just get that out of the way. I mean, but that kicker competition, we kind of knew what was going to happen there. Like the training camp practice we went to, it was glaring, the differences between the two. And I think that just the Jets game even showed it even more. That's kind of something that we're like, okay, this is obvious who the kicker is.
Yeah.
It's almost the same way to me of who the quarterback's going to be, even though Kyle Trask in that Jets game did look really good.
Yeah.
But it's just a lot of experience, a lot of playmaking ability he doesn't have just yet. I'm not saying he can't ever be a starter in the league. I just don't think it's his time yet. This is been his journey throughout his whole career. So let it play out. I don't think he's upset about it either.
Mm. Yeah, I don't think he's upset either. I think again, his whole career he's been one that has waited his turn. And eventually something happens and he takes over and he balls out. I mean, just look at his senior year,
Yeah.
had one of the best college seasons of pretty much all time. It was a really good college season by Trask. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think offensively you got to feel confident. I guess we can shift gears to the wide receiver room
Yeah.
because there's a lot of competition going on
Hell yeah.
there. Obviously, Trey Palmer makes another great touchdown grab with a nice little one-handed tip ball action to himself.
Yeah, he tipped it to himself. I was like, did he even need to do that? I was like, because people were saying that damn thing's underthrown. I'm like,
no, it was a good pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good pass, good play by Trey Palmer. So again, his only target of the game, but he capitalized it for a touchdown. We got Raheem Jarrett sighting as well. He made some big plays. He had 3 catches for 84 yards. Even tried to jump over a guy and did a somersault or a couple flips there.
This is like this. We don't teach that.
Yeah. But really, I mean, yeah, Trey Palmer continues to kind of separate himself. And then you have, Devin Tompkins, who unfortunately had a tough drop in that game. Kalen Geiger with I think also another drop, David Moore. So there was a couple drops mixed in there, amongst the receivers. But I mean, right now it looks like it's going to be Evans, Godwin, Trey Palmer, Tompkins, and then probably Raheem Jarrett, David Moore is probably your 6 guys. Looks like the leaders so far, but we got one more game left. But what's your thoughts of that position overall?
I mean, I know Trey Palmer's balling out right now. He's got hell of a confidence to him, like hella confidence, and I like that a lot. I don't know if they put him at the wide receiver 3 immediately. I don't know. Like, I think everyone's just already penciling him in there because Devin Tompkins is too small. He's more of a gadget guy, they say. I mean, David Moore's got the experience, but I guess he doesn't have the flair Trey Palmer does. Because I'm trying not to think like the old BA offense where, okay, they have these special guys set for certain positions where Canales just moves everyone around. Maybe they just get the best 3 guys on there, or do they go with an experienced guy like David Moore in the slot position? I don't know. I by all means, with the way Palmer's playing, I would almost ride the high, ride the momentum, but I don't know. It depends on what Canales is thinking and if he's ready to fill that role that fast.
Yeah, I think G Vegas says he's wide receiver 3, no doubt. Yeah, I think you got to ride with him, and we'll see this weekend. Especially with the starters out there, we'll see who lines up in that 3rd receiver spot for that first couple of series. I think it's going to be like by committee. I think it's going to depend on matchups as well, like who has the right matchups. If they need a more quick separator, they're going to put in Devin Tompkins in there.
This point is exactly what I was going to say. That would be the main reason you use him. Like, he's going to be an upgraded Scotty Miller. Like, Palmer can stretch the field and open lanes for Godwin and Evans. That would be nuts. Because if you keep trying to double Mike Evans on one side and you have Palmer just fly by you, it's over. And he clearly looks like he has better hands than Scotty Miller, or he's not dropping to his knees every time he tries to catch ball. But let's see. It does put a smile on my face to think about. I mean, with your 2 top dogs and you have a guy that can fly past people and actually catch it and make plays. Yeah, I mean, I want to say wide receiver 3, but it's where does Canales go? Does he go with experience or does he go with momentum, I guess?
Yeah, I think you just, like I said, I think it's going to be like kind of committee based on matchups. Like if you need that quick separator, you probably go to Devin Tompkins where he can get you some quick yards in that short intermediate area, but also can stretch the field as well. I mean, he's got speed
Yeah.
to burn. So you can kind of, utilize them both in that way. And with the tight end room, where the way it's going, you probably want more receivers on the field. This team is going to be in shotgun a lot. They're going to spread it out. I think you're going to see a lot of empty sets with receivers and running backs running actual routes. Rashad White is, I mean, we haven't even seen him on the field yet, but he is going to really, I think, have a big part of this offense, not only in the running game, but in the receiving game. So there's going to be a lot of different options. We already seen a couple of the jet sweeps, so that's going to be part of it. Where Devin Tompkins probably comes in because he's got the more explosive ability. But you just don't want to get too predictable with those tendencies. So you have to make sure you mix it up a little bit. But like you said, they're going to move Mike Evans and Chris Godwin around. Chris Godwin's going to be more on the outside, so I think that's going to be a lot of fun to exercise those matchups.
Yeah, that's kind of like where KGH for Life was mentioning how BA only used him on the outside. That's why I was like,
Right.
I need to get out of that mindset of thinking, oh, Palmer's just an outside guy. They could use him inside. I don't know how Canales will use him based upon, I think, Plus and I were talking earlier today. It's like, I'm actually really excited for the season. And it's weird for the past 3. It's almost like we've been banging our heads against the Leftwich BA playbook.
Yeah.
It's almost like we just knew what the hell to expect and we're upset about it. And now it's whole creation of something new. And can we see people be utilized to their strengths? And I hope we see it. And yeah, get out of the mindset of thinking Trey Palmer is just an outside guy because he's just a speed guy. Can we use him all over the field?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like we talked about in a couple live streams ago, where we actually saw mesh routes and all sorts of different concepts where guys are going to be attacking more east and west instead of just vertical. So you're opening up a lot of, those underneath options, but also attacking intermediate voids that will make it easier for quarterback. I mean, how many easy completions have we seen this preseason? I mean, it's got to be up there. We haven't really seen easy completions in the past, and this is just preseason. We've seen guys open, like wide open, and catch the football. Like, just haven't had that in previous years. I know it's preseason, but guys are actually running to space. You're seeing quarterbacks hit these guys with a couple yards of separation. Just makes it easier on the quarterback. And what has Dave Canales talked about? Easier offense for everyone. That's what we're getting at. And I think that's what makes it fun. So, and I think you're going to see a utilization, like I said earlier, a lot of receivers, because the tight end group, that kind of worries me. You don't really have anyone outside of Cade Otton. Kokeefe could be that, fullback type H-back, go in the flat, catch a ball.
I wouldn't count on Cole to catch ball though.
Yeah, exactly. But he's still going to have to run routes because you can't have that predictability like we saw last year. Payne Durham is like coming along, but again, it's like he's a rookie, 5th round pick. How much do you expect? David Wells kind of like had that 1 week where he was like the talk, and now he's not really doing well, and it makes sense because that's why he's been to so many teams over his career. So tight end is a position, I think, if they can find someone on waiver wire, that would be a position they're going to be looking at to see if they can upgrade. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that was an area where I was like, why the hell didn't we? Like, I thought we would have drafted one for sure, especially this was like a deep tight end class.
Right.
And
I mean, they did draft one, but
so late. I mean, so late.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
Right.
when you're going to build off your strengths, your wide receiver room is that dominant, but I mean, they threw to their tight ends a lot in Seattle. I mean, they had Cody Parkinson's. They had the Denver guy that they traded Russell Wilson for. What's his name?
Yeah, Noah Fant.
Noah Fant. And there was a third one. And they're all different types of guys. One speed guy, one really tall guy, one guy could do a little bit of both. And it's just the variability of all their tight ends. We have one proven thing, and then we have Kokeefe, who's a really good blocker. Payne Durham, you don't really know. You just know he's a big guy, can be an end zone target. And David Wells, is he even going to make the team? Let's see. So, I mean, That's one area where it's a bunch of unknowns because I wouldn't rely on Kokeef to catch the ball. You can't do that in preseason either. You
Yeah.
couldn't do it last year, so he was never a high volume pass catcher in college either. I think he caught
Right.
19 balls his
Yeah, it
whole
wasn't a lot. Yeah.
right. So he's then there for blocking, mainly blocking, but he's going to have to catch a ball. You got to be a viable option
Mhm.
and just be a guy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's the biggest area of concern, I guess you'd say, because you're either depending on K Dotton to make a massive step up to be a
Mhm.
huge pass catching target, or
Yeah.
there's nothing.
I think Cade can do it. I mean, he showed it on Saturday with a couple nice catches. I know it was only 2 catches, but again, he looked solid. He made some athletic moves where he got the first down, got away from defenders and, made plays that way. I think his blocking has looked good so far. There's a couple instances where he got pushed out, but that was because of his teammate, getting blown up.
Right.
Brandon Walton, Aaron Stinney, Nick Leverett did not have a good game in this one. I know offensive line has been the talk where everyone wants to add someone. I saw on our YouTube channel that they wanted to trade Anthony Nelson for an offensive tackle. I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. Luke Gedeke and Cody Mock actually had a very good game. I thought they both played better. It was just the disaster from center to left tackle kind of did them in. It didn't do them any favors. They were trying, but just didn't help them. Luke Gedeke went up against a very good player in Jermaine Johnson, another second-year player who showed power against him. But Gedeke held his own. He only allowed, I think, one pressure throughout his time in there, which is a very good news for him. It's an improvement from last week to this week. So that's what you want to see.
I mean, if everyone wants to single out Luke Gedeke,
Mm,
yeah, I think he's going to be probably your worst lineman of your starting five. And I'm okay with that. If you have to
yeah.
only worry about one side, because Tristan Wirfs, everyone's not going to say one bad thing about him. I don't care if he's switching from right to left. No one's going to say
Mm,
anything bad about him.
mm,
Filer, at least
mm,
he's been in the league consistent. He's playing next to an all-pro left tackle. Jensen or Hainsey, whichever one is in there. I know Hainsey's been in there a whole year. He looked consistent, very viable option. Jensen, when he's out there, he plays nasty. He's a consistent player.
mm,
I'm okay with those three. Cody Mock, he's athletic enough that I think he's going to get better. He's going to be almost like, I don't want to say it, but Ali Marpet, kind of how he got better and better and better as his rookie season went on. I think he can have that potential because he's that athletic of a player.
yeah.
I mean, Gedeke's going to do what he's going to do. Like, he's good enough where he has to give away to speed rushes, which will make him a little bit more prone to getting bull rushed. I think he's
Mm,
counting on his squatty ability to, if someone does bull rush him, he can absorb it. He just
yeah.
doesn't want to get beat by speed. So he doesn't have it all. He doesn't have a Tristan Wirfs ability to freaking fly outside, and then if someone bulldozes me, I can still stonewall him. Gedeke
Mm,
isn't to that point, and that's you're never going to have an all-pro in every position on the offensive line. If you don't have
yeah.
to worry about one guy getting beat so, I'm okay with that. Give
Mm,
me a chip, give me a running back on that side. It's just knowing your personnel and working with it. You can't just
yeah.
be mad about he lost at one time,
Mm.
right?
Yeah. I think the offense line is going to be okay. I think it's going to be good enough.
This comment.
Uh,
Luke got exposed by grocery store baggers.
no, he didn't. Actually, Nick Herbig, the guy from Pittsburgh, is destroying a lot of people right
Yep.
now. I mean, he beating starting offensive lineman for the Buffalo Bills, which I know that isn't saying anything because Buffalo's O line is not the greatest. But again, he's beating starters. So Nick Herbig looks like he's a legit pass rusher. Um, but with that said, I think Luke Gedeke is going to be okay. I think he'll be good enough. And the beauty of this offense is they have built-in protections with each passing play. So you have either a tight end coming over, or you have help from the running back. You have other guys that can you know help him out. You can shade towards that side. You can shift protection to eliminate. Also, moving the quarterback outside of the pocket. All those things are going to be part of the plan.
Again, that's
So,
why we say the Bucs will
mm,
go based off of the system, based off Canales' calling the plays. Because, yeah, if we
yep,
run the same damn offense we had last year, Luke Gedeke's going to look like shit, straight shit. If he's forced to
yeah,
pass block every snap of the game, we're going to look terrible. You
yeah,
got to be able to mix in the run. I mean, getting him downhill, you've seen the film studies. He's way better against in run blocking. let them
Yes.
mow guys over, and then let them tire out. And then all of a sudden, if they try and speed rush, okay, they don't have it because Gedeke's just mowing them over left and right. You got
Mhm.
to sprinkle in the run with the pass. It can't just be all pass because then you're setting your guys up for failure. That is, again, a
Woo!
Leftwich fault. That was a
Yeah.
fault on his offensive play calling, and that's why he got fired ultimately. Canales, is he going to help out his personnel? Noticing, okay, maybe Gedeke is a little bit of liability in pass blocking consistently. So let's mix it up. Because if you keep making him pass block 50 times in a game, he's going to lose a majority of them because they're going to start getting used to his tendencies and just setting moves up. The play caller's got to help in that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
something people got to realize it's not just a one man. The
right.
system's got to work together. You got to be able to. The coaches got to understand what's working and what's not working, and not force round peg into a square hole.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. And the running game is going to take time because again, they're learning a new run blocking scheme. It's a zone scheme where you're doing a lot of different things. You have to move in unison. So that is going to come, with time, and we'll see how it looks with the starting, five out there this week. It should look a little bit better instead of Brandon Walton just getting run over, or Aaron Stinnie getting blown by. So I think you'll see some improvement there. Now, the depth behind the starting five, obviously, you have Nick Leverett as probably your top backup. Brandon Walton probably stay on, and then you have Justin School probably be the top offensive swing tackle. So it's a little, John Molshin, I think, could be an option as a center / guard. So it's a little thin there. And, obviously that's a position they'll be looking at, once waiver wire hits. But the problem is you don't really get quality offensive linemen on
Yeah.
free agency. Like they just don't become available. So it's a position where you have to draft and you got to develop these guys and you got to draft well. And that's something Jason Light has, I think, shown that he is capable of, obviously with, drafting Tristan Wirfs, getting Cody Mock, Luke Gedeke in here, also drafting Alex Kappa in the past. So he's had plenty of draft picks. Yeah, Ali Marpet, Donovan Smith. So yeah, it's just I think he'll be okay. But I think offensively, the main position of concern for me would probably be the tight end. I think that is something where hopefully we can add. Running backs, I thought are fine. I really like Chase Edmonds as the RB2. Sean Tucker, I know there's a lot of talk about him. He did some good things. Yep, bless. He did some good things, had that big run. Obviously showed the speed, both in the running game and on, catching the football. So, your thoughts overall on the offense, I think we would agree. Those are pretty much our concerns.
Yeah, offense. I'm just ready for what is this system going to be, and don't expect big plays early. I'm expecting just things to be consistent. Let's just get an offense that knows how to find the right spot, right? Not necessarily go deep every damn time. We're looking for dump plays, like a little 5 yards here, 5 yards here, and then maybe later in the game start attacking deep. Or maybe Baker Mayfield just goes crazy and says, "I'm just going to throw this damn thing over the top." You never know. But it's all based on reading the system. What is defense giving me? They keep giving me 5 yards, just take it. And that's something where we got pissed off with the Saints all the time because they'd always take the 5 yards. Hopefully we turn into something like that. And then everyone's concerned with the running game. Yeah, that pisses me off too that we can't get just one damn yard. But again, like Gus was saying, left tackle, left guard, and center were just miserable in the Jets. And that Jets defensive line is disgusting. The Steelers have depth
really
nonstop on defensive line as well. And our second tier linemen are not good. So if our starters go out, it's not looking pretty. Tristan Wirfs is a night and day better player than Justin School. Let's just put that out there. I am comfortable running to the right, but everything's just got to work together. Like it's and it's got to be called at the right time too. It can't be just a giveaway. Okay, we're running this way, how it used to be in the past. And a lot of this can be schemed up properly, but sometimes you got to be mano a mano, win on 4th and 1. You got to get it. And I just want to see what happens when all the good guys come in there instead of, oh, we're fighting and clawing for the bottom of the roster. Yes, it does slightly scare me, but I think once these upper level type of players come in, it'll be a big difference.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm excited to, see them play this weekend on Saturday against Baltimore. I think that's gonna be a great test, and yeah, it should be good. Just to see them get, some reps out there. And then defensively, I think we're all confident. And, me and you have talked about defensively the concerns. Obviously, Logan Hall being the top one because he just hasn't really shown much in preseason. You're hoping he continues to progress out there and get better as far as being more stout in the run game, but also showing something as a pass rusher. We did see Greg Gaines this week, and he looked really good. I thought he played well. So these backups pretty solid, I think, as far as a backup line. You
Mhm.
got Patrick O'Connor, Greg Gaines, Golston, Diaby, Nelson. I think that's a really good, solid group. Linebacker is kind of going to be sorted out this weekend. Probably KJ Britt's got a hamstring injury, so puts him up in the air. Servassier will probably be back this week. Didn't play last week, but been impressed with JJ Russell. I thought he's done some good things. Ulysses Gilbert as well, also. But just your thoughts on the front seven as a whole.
It's funny they don't even have Marquise Watts lifted.
You're right. Yeah, Marquise Watts. Go check out our videos of him. We put a lot of content out on him over the past 2 days. So really good stuff. Got a film study up today. I think they got to keep him somehow, some way.
What's funny that like they have KJ Britt listed as an outside linebacker too.
Yeah. Yeah, ESPN is probably not the best example here.
Right. But I mean, front seven wise, you said it. Logan Hall's the only big question mark. Does he take any step forward this year? And then already penciling him at starter. Bowles saying that, oh no, he's fitting what we want him to do now. He just needs to get a little bit better, more reps. That one, I'm scratching my head out. I'm hoping that's true, but it's crazy to see the difference when Logan Hall's in there in preseason and then William Golson gets in there. Night and day difference. And William Golson's never been known as like a top-notch player. He's just been a hustle, stop the run type of guy.
Yeah, consistent.
Consistent player. Logan Hall, just show me something. That's all I want. But I'm excited to see what the hell Cansey actually comes in and does. I mean, he's probably not going to play
Right.
this last preseason game, but week one, everyone's been talking about everyone else, like the other rookies. Trey Palmer. Everyone's been talking about Servassier Dennis picking balls off. Yaya Diaby, the pressure he's been giving. We haven't even talked about Cansey because he hasn't been able to be seen. So once he gets unraveled and said, okay, turn it loose, what the hell is that going to look like? That's what I'm excited for. And it's just no one's been talking about it because they haven't seen him. I'm hoping, stay healthy and let's see what he can do with this defensive line, this front seven, linebackers flying all over the place. I think it's going to be really fast and dangerous. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the front seven. I think, like you said, Cansey, really advanced rookie already, and I think he can come in and play good right away because you have a Vita Vea in the middle, going to draw a lot of attention. Then you have JTS, Devin White, Levante, and Shaq Barrett all looking ready to play well. And I know there's JTS slander in the chat. Guys, he is coming along. He is going to be just fine, in my opinion. I know four sacks over the last or 8 sacks total over the last 2 years combined, but his pressure rate went up last year. Everything, all the advanced numbers show to him continuing to improve and really break out. I think we're going to finally see it this year, especially with George Edwards coming on as outside linebackers coach. I feel good about JTS, so I think he'll be fine. And Shaq Barrett looks like he was never hurt, so everything's looking good there. And then you have really good backups in Anthony Nelson and Yaya Diaby. And then are they gonna keep
Comment of the year right here.
I know, I just saw that. Yeah, bring
back War Giraffe.
War Giraffe, yeah, with this long ass neck.
Holy shit, that was great.
But I mean, are they going to keep 5 outside linebackers? Because Marquise Watts, I mean, with 7 pressures from this last week, I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, Cam Gill has looked really good as well, And we haven't even seen Jose Ramirez because he's probably going to go on the practice squad. They're probably
Yeah,
trying to hide him.
and that's a lot of it. I mean,
Yeah.
I've never seen this much speed rush potential in our outside linebacker room. I mean, yes, Shaq, JTS are 8 penciled in starters. Anthony Nelson may not be a speed guy, but he's consistent. Then you got Yaya Diaby, and Marquise Watts, Cam Gill, and then Jose Ramirez, which you haven't really seen. I think they're doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
Like to sneak him in the practice squad. Marquise Watts and Cam Gill competing. I mean, that it's going to be who does most on special teams. And I don't really think Marquise Watts has done anything on special teams, but his ability to be after it in the passing game, holy hell, like consistent, like just multiple moves. And if you let that guy go, someone's picking him up. I mean, you've already shown too much.
Yeah.
I mean, Darren Waller just walking out on the practice field, not even playing, got plucked up by the Raiders. I forgot who was he on? Was he on the Saints or who was he on? I think he was on the Ravens actually. I think because now they don't let their guys practice in the pregame. Don't go out in pregame because they're going to get plucked up by another team. So like, you put this on tape and other people see this. I mean, he's going to get scooped up. So it's going to be a tough decision. Bowles even said it in the beginning. He's like, that outside linebacker room looks disgusting, and it's going to be a tough decision. Who's he going to be?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be tough for sure. With that said, it's perfect time to transition. Be sure to hit that like button. We appreciate everybody here. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It helps us out a bunch. But hit that like button on the video if you're enjoying the content. We got so much more in store for you guys this season. So we're really back in our groove now, and we got a system that we're going to follow, and really excited about it. So we're just getting started here for this season. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. So be sure to hit that like button. But with the defense, yeah, I think you got some hard decisions, especially at outside linebacker. And then you look at the secondary. I think Delaney, I think, is still a key piece of the secondary, which is great.
Yeah.
I thought he did some good things, obviously getting the interception and just playing well. You look at Zion McCollum, I think, is going to be your outside third corner. And then Christian Izien, we'll see if he can get back in the race for the nickelback job. He didn't play last week, but I think he'll be back this week, and we can see more of him. But I think Delaney is probably going to be like your top end backup if they need to call on somebody.
Over McCollum?
No, not like necessarily over McCollum, but he's got that flexibility to play safety or corner.
Yeah.
And just kind of versatile there. I'll bring this back up. Let me see if I can. Yeah, bring that back up. As you can see, they already added Richard. I think it's Lecunte. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I apologize. But they added him, and I think that will be interesting to see if he can add anything. Obviously, Rodarius Williams. So they're looking for depth piece in the secondary for sure.
Yeah, I mean, your starters are what it is. It's the only position that's questionable is nickel. We all think it's Christian Izien, but we'll see. I mean, Delaney, how do I say this? Like, he's a guy that you want to like, but then sometimes doesn't show up. He may show it in preseason. Every preseason, he's always shown it. When he gets his time during the regular season, I feel like it's not a good look. And is it just because that level of play is just that much better? Or is it, I don't know, just bad situations? They're just attacking him. I don't know. But I think Ryan Neal, Winfield, it's a given. They're the starters. Lock it down, stay healthy, and I think that back end's gonna be phenomenal. Dean, Colton Davis, everyone knows those two. If they stay healthy, and with hopefully quicker decisions by the quarterback, because our pass rush is actually getting after it, we could look for a lot of turnovers, tip balls, things like that. I think it's just going to be coming down who's that nickel corner. And like you said, Delaney, if he's a top backup, I'm okay with that. Zion McCollum, I'm okay with that. I just don't want to see them getting high volume play time. That's it. But I guarantee one of them will, because Colton Davis and Jamel Dean always miss games throughout the season. And it's kind of hard for a corner. I mean, that is a tough position to play. So just expect to see them in Hopefully, no more than 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a position where they're going to be, aggressive as far as waiver wire and try to see if they can shore it up. Backup safety. Obviously, you have Christian Izien who can play the nickel back spot, but also play safety as well. Kayvon Merriweather has shown some things, but that's definitely it's something to keep an eye out for.
So, would you
Josh
say a corner or not corner or safety is your bigger concern of depth?
Corner, I feel okay with because Zion is there, and I feel like if one of the outside corners go, Zion is comfortable enough to play in a pinch where he'll be okay.
Okay.
Nickel corner, I'm fine with Christian Izien. I think he's shown a lot of good things. Josh Hayes, I think, has shown some ability there as well. So I think I'm okay there, even though you're super young. Um,
That'd be 6 corners then.
but if you lose one of the safeties, that's where I think we'd have a bigger time filling in because Nolan Turner, I just don't think he's it. I just don't think he's got the athletic ability. I don't know. He just kind of up and down right now.
And I mean, so that's telling. Like, there's no
Yeah.
true definitive backup safety, right? I mean, I guess D. Delaney in a pinch, but I mean, beyond that, it's Neal and Antoine Winfield Jr. I mean,
Yeah.
one of them get hurt. It's a sharp dive down in talent and ability. I mean, the corner you just named off, Zion McCollum and D. Delaney can kind of get in there, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Tony S is not a fan of JTS, so we'll just make that clear, which is fine. Tony, you're entitled to your opinions, whether they be right or wrong. So
feels about JTS how we feel about Logan Hall.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Yeah, and Tony's probably a big Logan Hall fan. I mean, that's just how it works, right? But
give him playing time. It'll be Jerry McCoy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, safety I think is definitely the bigger issue. Okay, Tony.
I agree, Tony.
Right on. All right. You're welcome here anytime.
Woo!
Yeah. But yeah, so safety, they got to figure something out, and hopefully one of those guys can step up, or just don't have to see him often. Hopefully Ryan Neal and Winfield just stay healthy throughout the year. But defense overall, I think it's poised to have a really good season. I like the unit. I thought they were really good last year. I think they can be better this year because the key, like we always talked about, getting that rush with 4. Cansey, I think, has that ability to make that impact. So really excited to see what he brings to the table, like you mentioned earlier.
So I mean, mainly sadly, it's the middle part of our defense: backup linebacker, backup safety. That's the biggest concerns.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't put Servassier Dennis in there in a consistent basis right now. He showed a lot in practice, but during the games, he's kind of getting, I guess, under live fire, just not being the same type of guy he's being in practice. I think he's thinking too much on the field. I think once things slow down, it'll get better, but I would not rely on him on a high volume amount of plays. That kind of scary. I mean, Devin White, the way he plays, Lafonte's always been consistent, but he's getting up there in age. So, I mean, that is kind of the one areas I'm concerned. Middle linebacker depth and safety depth, and that's the middle of your defense.
Yeah, exactly. And, depth is hard to come by across the league. I mean, we talked about this before. It's like not many teams are, too deep. It's hard with, salary cap, and, you have to draft well. A lot of teams are counting on younger players. So, yeah, I think we'll be okay. Again, you got to have some, health luck, and especially with the secondary, the back end, you want to see those guys stay healthy and continue to play well, like they've shown when they're on the field. So, yeah, I like it.
I want to know, what is this? Logan Hall's mama ain't even a Logan Hall fan right now. What's that story about? Just
I think I think that's accurate. I mean, that is top notch reporting by Josh Okapo. I think that's what we look for when it comes to Pew Report. those kind of stories. Yeah, those kind of stories
It's playing
that's
so
top
bad as even his mom doesn't like
that's top notch.
it. Damn.
So, Josh, I'm expecting an article,
All right.
like an interview with Logan Hall's mom, and see what the deal is.
Well,
So
he's got to go.
that's
You got to go get the interview right now.
all right, Josh. Well, yeah, you take care, man.
Hard
Yep,
hitting journalism.
that's what it's about, man. You gotta get those tough stories. And man, it's been an off season for this team. A lot of storylines. Obviously, quarterback. Everyone's talking about it, but like me and you have said, I don't think it's going to matter because guess what? The key to everything is Dave Canales.
Yep.
It's the offense coordinator. It's his system. He's going to make this ship run. Um, and we got to see how it plays out. But if it runs right, the talent is definitely good enough to have a very good year.
Tony's got some takes. Is
Yeah,
QB3 alive?
QB3 is alive. He's doing well. He probably won't play
Yeah,
at all the rest of the year, but
but he is alive.
he is good. He is good.
Hard
He took
hitting
a
journalism.
yeah, he took a big hit.
Well, I
So,
mean, yeah, like Plus said, it is how it is. Like our offense will go based off Dave Canales. It's not going to be because the quarterback did this. It's because where the system's telling him to go, and whatever quarterback knows how to run that system correctly will be your quarterback or starting quarterback. And if the one they choose starts to go off the rails and do his own thing, like if Baker decides to, oh no, I got to prove it and do this, that he gets removed, then Kyle Trask probably takes over. That's one downfall I would kind of say of a quarterback competition, because fans and the players themselves would be quick triggered, being like, oh no, damn it, we got to get the hell out of here because we could be winning games. And that's the one scary part about it. Geno Smith just took the ball and ran with it last year, and that's what they're hoping for.
right.
But if it's a shaky road early on, I mean, fans will be screaming Trask in the damn stands, just the same way they were saying fire Leftwich last year. So you're kind of riding I guess a thin wire, but that's why I still think it's the system. Like if he's making the right reads, he's not going to get pulled. It's just going to be getting the system to go correctly. And I think that's why Baker's there. And Trask will eventually be something, but just not this year.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, early on, especially early in the season with, those first 4 games, it's going to be the biggest thing for this team. And what Todd Bowles wants from this team is complementary football. So, defensively, they're going to have to do their job. Offensively, I think you're just going to have to give it some time to come together, and they have to play, like you said, within the system and trust it early on. And you might see some things where maybe a little bit more conservative, but they're staying in that ball game and you're trying to win in the fourth quarter. I think that's where they're going to try to play it out.
Well, guys in the chat, tell me this. What is the big concern with Todd Bowles, though? Todd Bowles is a concern because his decision not to go for it in 4th and shorts, or his decision to.
I think it just comes down to in-game management. I think, obviously from, last season where there was times where he did make some questionable decisions, but like you and I have talked about, he didn't trust the offense last year. So when you don't trust one side of the field, how are you supposed to, be aggressive and do certain things that way?
He put it all on himself. That's what a coach is supposed to do. Put it on my defense. Put it on my defense. I'll keep us in the game. Because if you go for on 4th down on your side, you're shit out of luck because you're already almost giving up points immediately. If you give up a first down, you already gave up points. So
he gained 30 pounds in the offseason.
He did. Tony's, you're right. I mean, Todd Bowles carries it all in that midsection, man.
Yeah.
But his defense is the most consistent thing on this team. The offense, if we're worried about his decision making on 4th down, hopefully the offense is good enough where he doesn't have to get into those positions. Or it is good enough where he can say, okay, go ahead, offense, go ahead and do it. Take the reins. But it was his ship to decide what's going to happen, and he put it on himself. That should be a good thing, knowing that your coach is going to do that. No, let me punt this because we got to just stay in the game. I mean, that's what a majority of what football is.
Mhm.
It's not. It should never be a landslide. Your team's that much better. I mean, it's slamming into each other, looking for a sever of a little hole to fly through and pick up yards. There's 3 levels of the defense to get through. If you can get through all 3 of them and get a 90-something yard gain, someone messed the hell up on the other side.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you're trying to win by the smallest of margins. And yeah, if one side of your football team on the offense was doing jack shit, he was just putting on his defense. I mean, just keep them further pinned in their own end zone and not give them the advantage of the field.
Yep.
And it was tough to do, but he had to do it, even though he had the best quarterback of all time, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. It didn't matter when your play call shit.
Mhm.
I mean, it's point blank. So hopefully it's different this year.
Yeah, no, agreed. And I think, will we see, some changes, in game from Todd Bowles because he is fully on board with what the offense is doing from, Dave Canales. And obviously he's putting everything in Dave Canales' chair. So he's letting him run the offense, which I think is the smart move because as a defensive background that he has, he's trusting Dave to get it correct. And I think that's how you have to play it. Again, complementary football offense has to complement the defense. You hear Dave Canales talk about that all the time, where, yeah, we have to run the football. We have to play smart, take care of it, play action pass, get the big plays, when they're there. And it's all about situational football. And I think that's where, Todd Bowles has always preached on. And he's trying to get these guys to understand that and play as a team because that's what we did in the Super Bowl year. It was complementary football. Guys were complementing each other. So
We figured
that's
out
what
we
we,
play action game, and somehow
yep,
that started working, and then we lost it all over again.
yep.
I know. But Chris, what you don't like the way he's handling the preseason? Can you expand on that? Like just the way he's using quarterbacks, the way he's not playing certain players. Is it that?
Mhm.
Because I don't put much weight in preseason at all. I mean, it's
Yeah.
for the younger guys. That's what it's for. I mean, a majority of the reps in practice are usually your
Mhm.
starters. That's where your gelling is going to happen. They don't want to give away any secrets during the preseason games. That's why it's all
Right.
vanilla. That's why it's the
Yeah.
young guys. Can you
And guys,
in vanilla?
we haven't even seen the true offense yet.
Yeah.
And I know, Tony again saying that he's telling him to be conservative, but we haven't even seen the true offense of how Dave is going to call it in the regular season. Again, let's give it some time. I think a lot of fans are going to be surprised with what they see. Um, I think it's going to be a good thing because you got cohesion in the coaching staff now. Everyone's on the same page from that standpoint, as opposed to last year. You got the offensive talent still here, and now you have a defense that should be better, should be faster overall. If it can stay healthy again, that's going to be the key for them, key for the whole team, as every year is. But I'm excited for the season because it's going to come down to getting these guys in the right matchups. And I feel like we have the right guy that can do that week in and week out. So,
It's
yeah.
a he talks the talk. Let's put it that way. I'm ready
Yeah.
to
Now
see.
he's got to go out and do it.
But what also is good, you've heard all of your veteran guys. Everyone likes it. I mean, yeah, you're not going to talk down about it, but you're not going to be hyped up like I've never been this wide open in my
Yeah.
whole career. Or Chris Godwin coming in, literally the second guys can come in and literally is teaching everyone what he's learned, like really all being about it and understanding there's a plan in place of okay, the running game has to complement the pass game, and they're going to work in unison because they run plays off the same type of lineups, 12 personnel, 13 personnel, and it could be a run, it could be a pass. It's deception of that way, not just we're
Mhm.
all going to line up like this. You better win your one-on-one, and that's stuff where that gets me excited, and to see it come to fruition, especially with the talented players that we have on offense. Sometimes it's going to be easier on the quarterback because of that.
Mhm.
Like trust your guys that you have and trust the system, and you will get where you need to be. It may not be the best offense in the league, but it should be something that should get you enough points where your defense can do enough to win you the game.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what it's about. It's about winning the game. And that's what, that's what they're going to try to do. at all costs, which is, I think, on both sides of the ball. Now you're going to have it done the right way, which we haven't seen the last couple of years, especially on offense. So really excited about that. But guys, we pretty much touched a lot of topics tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. A lot of people in here, a lot of new faces. Tony S, you're my new favorite.
Right.
So if you're
Great.
ever if you go to the games, be sure to hit us up on Twitter or something. I'd love to buy you a beer just because of your comments from this show. So, but a lot of new faces. If you guys haven't subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, as you see it right here. Be sure to do that. We appreciate all the support. But yeah, we talked about the quarterback position. We talked about pretty much the offense and defense, how we see it playing out, and just a lot of fun with you guys. We appreciate everyone. And yeah, Mark, you got any last words before we head out?
Yeah, guys, thank you always for showing up and bringing the questions, bringing the energy. And at the end of the day, everybody stay blessed.
There we go. Absolutely. All right, guys. Everyone have a great night. Go Bucs, and we'll see you next Monday. See ya.